Hey everyone, I don't really have a plan for this video. A viewer requested that I do one of these, either way, so I do like taking suggestions and just making videos off that, especially when the content is really dry and the content that is currently out I'm not even able to beat and make videos on. So with the boss rush I kind of just stopped trying because I can't beat it. I don't have any support units in my box, so I should probably summon on the next big support unit whenever I see it. And for the labyrinth, I'm kind of taking my time with it. I'm stuck like midway through on the newest floor, but I haven't really been trying all too much. Like I just don't have a lot of Anastasia units. Like I have just a bunch of the OG cats and Anastasia, none of the new Spring Anna or Spring Julie or I think Ricardo. I don't even have Ricardo, so I think that's like a big DPSer that I just don't have. So I'm just kind of taking my time. It's nothing too crazy, but I am stuck, so not a lot of content coming out on the channel. I am also saving up a bunch of orbs on Bleach in order to do another summoning video to get Rukia. Hopefully I get Rukia. I really want her because she can do some great stuff for my kit or my box, and she has really cool art. I love the swimsuit art in that game. So without further ado, again, I don't really have a plan for this. I kind of touched on every single one of the things I'm going to touch on again in this video in like previous videos, but I always get questions like, hey, can you make a character guide? Can you make a strengthening guide? Can you make a transfer your account guide and stuff like that, which is all things that I've already done, like a hammer guide as well. Like I've done all of these things already in previous videos, but I guess my channel's grown like a little tiny bit since then. I guess people don't look up like the search bar on the channel. So if you're on PC, you can search people's channels, and I type in a bunch of keywords in the tags. So like if you even get remotely close to what you're trying to look for, the video pops up. So I try to do that. So again, if you ever need anything from me, just try and search my channel first, because I do a lot of these videos, and I understand that I did them when I was really small, like 10 subscribers small, and that you probably don't have them, you know, have this 200 subscriber YouTube channel on your recommended, so I'm assuming you probably haven't seen them. So I'm just doing this over again, and I also know a lot more about the game than I used to, so that's another reason. So I guess we can just get into it from there. I guess the first example could be a pretty obvious one, probably Valrem. Valrem is somewhat of a DPS unit. You're just looking at her stats here. We can actually go ahead and bring her up on the Discord. I have the Discord ready so we can use characters and stuff, and I like using the Discord a little bit more than the wiki, because the Discord has this feature which I can just you know, look for a character, click their names, and it'll take me to them. The wiki just doesn't have that. And then unfortunately the Discord doesn't have that for the memories. It is super useful for memories, but they just don't have it. And I understand, like it's just people with lives just, you know, doing this. These guys aren't employed by anyone or anything, so I can't ask for too much. So yeah, looking at her stuff, she's got debuff chance as a leader skill. That should tell you what she's all about. HP, or in order to really build a character, you have to look at her or his kit entirely, rather than just like, hey, this guy's got really nice HP, I'm probably going to build HP on him. You probably really want to see what those skills are all about. So let's say we know nothing about the game, we just installed the game today. Valentine's Day Rem is the current banner. I pulled her, let's go see what she's about. I open this video, I see the Discord link, I join the Discord, I look her stats, and here they are. We have a debuff chance leader skill. We have what seems to be average HP. It's actually kind of low average, below average, but we don't know that because we just started the game. Her attack is this, her defense is this, and this. So we're like, hey, these stats look okay, but we don't know the average stats. So we're just gonna say she looks pretty cool. All we know is debuff chance, which is pretty self-explanatory. Having that as a leader skill in any game, whether it's Dokkan, what other games use leader skills? I was going to list a bunch of, but I actually don't know. But if you've ever played Dokkan, you know a leader skill tells you a lot about a unit, separate from stats. So debuff chance is the leader skill. Just think of this as maybe like a passive from Grand Cross, if you've ever played that. The passive kind of dictates how you want to play that character. And so yeah, there's a leader skill debuff chance. Maybe that's what we should build on her. Then we look at her basic. She's got a defense down on her normal attack. Then we have this single target with a charm effect, which is seemingly a debuff since it says chance to inflict charm. That sounds like a debuff to me. So now we have this pairing up. Then it's invincibility for 1 turn. So that's just icing on the cake. Then we have the skill 2, which is physical attack all enemies with a chance to inflict DOT. Don't know what DOT means, but it sounds like a debuff because inflict comes right behind it. Then we have 100% chance to inflict charm again. So this is an AoE charm unit. That right there should just tell you debuff chance is probably the way to go with this unit. Now we're going to switch over to how you should actually build her with the actual knowledge that you have in the game. So she's a very fast unit. She's one of the fastest units in the game. Only, I think, beaten out by Bride Elsa, or who has the highest speed in the game. Someone has the highest speed in the game. Yeah, Bride Elsa has 173. I'll go ahead and switch back for you guys. Bride Elsa has 173 agility. That's the highest stat in the game, like base stats. A lot of other characters are way faster than her when they actually get into battle. But this is like this is the highest speed, I believe. I just can't think of any other character that beats that. But Valrem's is 193 base, or 193 base, 171 base. So then I have the added agility. So the reason why I put agility on this character is because her memory at gold gives her 50% action gauge, and your speed is how fast that action gauge fills up. So the fact that she's able to have incredible speed plus that memory on her that just starts her off at 50% means she's always going to be going first no matter who you're fighting, unless you fight a same exact Rem. Fully built speed, gold with a gold memory, gold idle memory. If you don't know what the idle memory is, it's like the memory she came with in her event, and it's like one of the best memories in the game to get. That memory alone deserves its entire own video. But yeah, so we can't put agility on 1 through 5 on the SP hammers, so we went ahead and put the debuff chance to put icing on the cake. But having a 50% debuff chance lead, which is probably what you always want to run when you're running her in PvP, is really good and basically guarantees your charms all the time, because you're going to be charming, which means you're going to be stunning, which means the enemies can attack. So that's what this character is used for. With just looking at her stats, you would think she's probably just a normal DPS unit. But when you factor in the leader skill, then you factor in her kit, then she becomes kind of a utility character rather than a DPS character. So that's kind of how you want to build characters, with the whole overall knowledge of the entire kit. So as a plain player, I saw her leader skill, I saw her kit, and said maybe debuff chance is the way to go. And while I wasn't completely right, I was more or less on the money. And even if I was wrong, debuff chance is pretty fine to have on this character. I'd say this is the optimal PvP way to set her up. If you want, you can kind of put this as attack as well if you saw that DPS and wanted to go for that. But personally, I tried out attack on this character. I built her fully attack after having speed, and I saw that she was kind of worse, so I went back to having speed. I just prefer her going first in every piece of content rather than the extra attack, because I find the utility in her just super useful over anything else. So that's one unique case. Then we can go off to a character that actually is just straight up DPS, and you don't really have to build too much around her kit. So this is Sword Saint. We're gonna go ahead and look at her kit right now. See if we can find it. She's yellow, right? I think so. Oh, that's the wrong one. This one? Okay, this one. So her starting off with her leader skill again, we're gonna look at the entire kit, the entire information. This one we're gonna do with knowledge that we already have of the game instead of pretending we're a new player again. So leader skill, allies arena attack 35%. So she's an attack lead, cough cough. And then actually this doesn't really mean too much because there's a lot of tanks with attack leads, like Subaru. And then Juice isn't really a tank. He's more of a like DPS / support. But yeah, so tanks can have this as well. So this isn't too much. Seeing how this is like not very specific. Like attack and HP and defense, like they're not very specific things. But when you get into like agility leaders, crit rate leaders, crit damage leaders, like these are kind of known in most games as like substats, and that's when it's kind of specific. Although I don't know that there's any, I don't believe there's any agility leaders, but you know, you never know. But yeah, so attack, defense, and HP are kind of like the basic in any game, so I wouldn't like read too much into attack, HP, and defense. But HP is pretty okay. Attack is relatively high. Defense is relatively mid. Agility is a little slow. Crit rate is great. Crit damage is a little above average. Debuff chance is 20% average, then 35% average. Looking at her basic, she has just a normal hit, reduces self cooldowns, which is really nice. Then her passive, which basically makes this unit so good. At the beginning of the phase, so every time you meet new enemies in a dungeon, let's say you're doing the boss rush, every single phase, this passive is going to restart. So that's what the beginning of at the start of battle. This says at the start of battle, but it's at the start of each phase. I don't know if this is like a wrong wording, or the start of phase is also just generalized in this term as at the start of battle. If so, that could be hard, because then you're gonna have to test every single one of your characters that says this. But most of the time I'll probably just let you guys know. So yeah, 100% chance to increase attack, defense, crit rate, and agility. So that's why her stats look so like underwhelming for how good I hyped this character up. It's because when she actually gets into battle, that's when these stats get boosted a little bit. So she's not actually a 158 agility character. She's not actually a 1500 attack character. She's not actually a 700 defense character, at least for the first 3 turns. And that's should low-key how long every single one of your battles should be, if you're doing everything correctly, or you're not fighting anyone too tough. And then she gets invincibility for 1 turn, which is she can't be touched by anything unless they can just remove your buffs. But it's pretty nice to just avoid the damage. So overall, her passive is really good. She's getting everything from this passive, which just hard carries her. And then she has a chance to stun and damage over time for 2 turns. Damage over time, nothing you should really like base a kit around or anything. Stun, depending on the kit, maybe. Then we have the bonus stats. I've been getting into the bonus stats. Bonus stats should tell you how to build a character as well. Crit damage, crit rate, and attack. All things to help you DPS. I wonder what this unit should be. So looking back at her kit, I originally went with agility on the right side because I just wanted her to be a speed demon. Even though she gives herself an incredible speed buff as well, I just wanted her to be good even when she doesn't have those buffs. After the 3 turns, when all of those buffs run out, I wanted her to stay strong. But I found that it wasn't really that needed, because there wasn't many times where I would go past these 3 turns. So I just kind of copied Rep. If you know, he's a Discord, he's part of the Discord, huge part of the Discord, gives me a lot of translations and shit. I just copied him, and he was like, I want HP, and I was like, that's probably smart, because you get yourself a defense buff, and then, you know, you're passively just already very tanky, so might as well just benefit that as well. And then obviously attack on the left side, because she's a DPS unit. Then for SP, you can't roll attack here and here, so your best case is probably the crit damage, because you get the crit rate buff, and your crit rate base is so high that you're basically always critting. It is very unlucky if you don't crit. So having the crit damage here, instead of crit chance or anything else like HP, you probably could put HP, but I just like preferring the attack over the HP. So yeah, the crit damage is nice. Then here we have the attack. From my knowledge, attack does scale better than crit damage. So if you get a crit damage here, you probably should still reroll for the attack. Yeah, and then also, again, I have a hammers video, but if you ever need to know what can roll what in each slot and what kind of hammers you need, all of this is here. Where you can roll is all here. Starting from here, 1 through 5 can roll these, and then 6 through 10, which 1 through 5, 6 through 10, and then these are called SP slots. You can see right here, 1 through 5, and then we also have down here, so this is the normal SP, these 3. 1 through 2 can run the same thing, 3 to 4 can run the same thing, and then 5 can run, I believe, more or less the same thing from here. yeah, they just have HP instead of defense from 1 to 2. And then there's some other ones down here. There's some additional stats that we have yet to understand what are, because there are blue hammers and green hammers in the game. Not actually in the game, they're data mined. They're in the files. So we're assuming that the blue hammers and the green hammers give these bonus stats. This looks like something to do with agility, and this looks like an extra attack possibly. We don't know, but we'll just have to wait and see. So I'm probably gonna have to do yet another one of these, or another hammer video at some point. But yeah, so that's kind of how I would run Sword Saint. So one more character we'll run through just so we can get a gist. Probably, I was just kind of like rolling through my box. I guess we can just find another character since I have to actually showcase them. So I kind of want to do a support character here. But again, I don't have too many support characters. Actually, we can do Rhine. Labyrinth Rhine, since everyone's going to get him eventually, we can just go into what we can run with him. Now, this unit is extremely versatile. He can be ran however your heart imagines. There's 3 different memories that all work on him. There's a defense memory, a support memory, and an attack memory. They're not the official names, it's just kind of what we call them. The support memory is what I run on him. At least I think it's that one, which gives him cover, which is the most broken ability in the game right now for PvP. It basically gives your PvP another turn, or your PvP team another turn in defense, which is really strong, so you can capitalize on that. It's just really good, so I made him as tanky as possible. I went full HP. This guy has some insane stats when it comes to attack, so I thought he'd be fine on his own without any help from hammers to just do TBS. So I just went ahead and just built full HP. Usually you'd probably want to split him up here, but again, his attack is just so insane that I have full faith in his stats, and I'm just going to go full faith the other direction with my build. So he's going to be a little bit of both. Looking at his kit, he's got all allies attack for 30%. This is really good because this works everywhere. I didn't mention it previously, but the Sword Saint that we just took a look at, her leader skill only works in arena, which is PvP, so that's unfortunate. Like it's a solid leader skill. It's 35% over I think Ryan's 30%, but unfortunately, again, it only works in PvP, so it is what it is. Let's go and find him. Then he has HP 16k, which is pretty solid for a DPSer. His attack, I believe, is one of the highest in the game, like top 3 easy. I don't know the exact attack stats, but this is insanely high. So for the fact that he has average to above average HP is really good. Defense is like okay, it could be better, but this is like not that bad, especially because he gives himself defense. And then the memory that I'm running on him also gives him defense and HP. His agility is insanely high, probably the second fastest in the game to Bride Elsa. So that's really good, no need to work on that. Then we have crit rate, which is 60% instead of the average, I think 20% it is, 50%, yeah, the average 50%, excuse me. Then we have crit damage, which is the average 120, is now 170, so that is really good. And then debuff chance and debuff resistance are always 20 and 35, as is the standard stat, so that's okay. Then we have reduced agility, which is fine. I never get it to proc, but it is what it is. You can build it if you want to reduce your team or enemy's agility for some reason. You can build attack on this guy because again, he's so he hits so incredibly hard. Unfortunately, he is only a single target, and then his passive increases self-defense. So you can go full attack on this guy and just rely on that defense buff, but like it's not going to do too much. And plus, if you're fighting another Ryan inherently just ignores defense, so you know that's not going to do too much for you. Also, again, another thing, all the Reinhardts in the game, I believe, ignore defense, and I see that as a big sign not to build defense, because a lot of the Rhines are really good in PvP for the most part, and also ignoring defense that just means it's confirmed in the game and can be potentially put on a lot of other units in the future, which just basically ruins people's entire kits. Because if you're out here building, you know, half of your board defense, and this unit comes out with an AoE ignore defense like New Year's Rhyme, then you're just kind of screwed. So that's why I don't build it. But like, it might just be being paranoid too as well. I've been considering maybe building it because I think they don't think too hard into the games and their units, that they're just gonna put out whatever bullshit they want. So I really don't think they're probably gonna do it. But I'm just putting it out there. I would be safe and do that if you really care. So yeah, I like building all HP instead of some defense along with it. I rolled these for HP as well, but I didn't get so lucky. So it is what it is. And yeah, he's basically a mega tank, and he has incredibly high attack stats right off the gate as well. So you can either double down on the stats, even though they're so strong already. I don't think he needs the help. Although my Ryan does struggle a lot with damage, I've noticed. It's probably because he's nowhere near max. He doesn't have this board max. I don't believe he has his skills max. He's not awakened at all. And he's pretty okay for how he actually is. So again, looking at those max stats, they're pretty insane. So I would just build this long term, and I'm going to keep building it long term for HP. And then I'll get those attack stats later on for what they are. So if you have any specific questions, I can try and help. But it's so hard to make one of these videos because you have to go into the character's kit personally. You have to look at what you're gonna build alongside with him. Like, the whole entire reason I'm putting HP on this guy is because of this memory that works on him. The entire reason I put speed completely with Val Rem is because of that memory that works with her. You have to look at so many factors into building a unit. It's not really like any other game where Grand Cross, oh, it's Sario? Yeah, let's pick attack crit damage. Lost Vein, let's put attack crit damage, you know? There's so many pieces to units in this game, which is something I really enjoy, but unfortunately it just doesn't really mean too much shit. When the gameplay is just 2D figures hitting each other over and over, turn after turn, the gameplay could be a lot more interesting. But the building aspect of characters is really fun. It's really unique. I really have a lot of fun making and deciding things with characters. There's a lot of possibilities that you can put on characters. Yeah, there's probably more or less definite possible like best kits to put on a character for certain situations, but for the most part, like you're actually able to like diversify your box. Like, you're able to have some fun. Right, also, this is what mine looks like. Personally, I went attack and agility. I went full agility at the beginning, which is totally viable, but I just found that I really wanted that extra attack, so I just went along with it. And instead of attack, I could probably just put crit damage, and hit super hard on crits. But I think even then, like, I did some tests. I'm gonna have to retest because I keep saying attack crit is scaling better than crit damage, but I see a lot of whales with crit damage stuff. So I want to test a bunch of stuff. But I just personally think attack is better, so I'm probably gonna switch this out eventually. I just kept it because this is the max stat you can get for crit damage. This is 10, so I got pretty lucky there. But yeah, this is basically what I have on my other Elsa as well. You can run them the same exact thing. You can run with speed. You can run, Sword Sling with attack and speed, with attack and HP, attack and defense. You can do so much stuff with these characters. So again, if you have any questions, I try and take them in the comments. I just helping every single other person out is just really hard, but it is what it is. I'll do my best. You can also join the Discord. Again, they have a help and advice section if you want to know how to build a character. I would probably recommend watching my Should You Summon videos. I kind of go in full detail of the character, and if you can't get a proper idea from those videos, then I would probably recommend you going into the Discord, taking some action. They have, again, the help section. You can just go in there, ask, hey, is this like a proper build? Is this fine? What should I be looking for in this character? And then just post a screenshot of your hammers. People always forget to post screenshots. Post screenshots of your characters so people know what you're talking about. I just would easily screen grab like this, copy paste, post, bam, easy. That's how I got so much knowledge in the game. I was clueless like January, and then I just kept asking questions, and even if they're stupid questions and people laugh at you, like, at least you know now. Like, I don't care about how stupid I sound. I'm gonna ask the question. I'm gonna get the right answer, and then I'm gonna move on and learn from that. I really couldn't care less how stupid the question sounds. Like, if I ask some dude on the street, hey, is the sky blue? I want to know, is the sky blue? I don't care how stupid it sounds. I want to know the correct answer. So just don't be afraid to ask questions and be proactive. This was a long video. This is one of my longest videos, if not my longest video. I just wanted to go into as much detail as I could. I'm sorry I wasted your time, most likely. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Again, link in the description for everything, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.